Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your quantity surveying class. My name is Mrs. Bogolo Ntombela, and I will be taking you for descriptive quantification 101. My background is in quantity surveying. I have a degree in quantity surveying, and I have a master's degree in construction management. I'm currently enrolled for my PhD. So, like you, I'm also a student, and I hope that we will be crossing the stage very soon. And I look forward to that. I'm very excited to have you here, and I hope that you are also excited to be here. Um, and I really find numbers to be a very interesting thing for me because I don't like theory very much. So I'm sure some of you are like me, and that's why you're here because you don't like theory. So I really love numbers, and this is why I am specializing or majoring in quantity surveying because I prefer to crunch numbers over crunching books. So I hope that you're going to enjoy your journey with me as we move together from high school knowledge and moving into tertiary knowledge. And I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you by name and understanding your background and understanding where you guys have come from so that I can help you better, so I can be in a better position to help you get to where you want to get to, right? And I would just like to know, why did you guys choose quantity surveying as your course? Like, there's so many courses. Why? How did you get here? How did you discover quantity surveying? Or how did you hear about it? And what made you to decide to be a quantity surveyor? Was it someone? So I'll start first, right? So for me, I became a quantity surveyor because of somebody, a professional quantity surveyor who actually is my friend's dad, and he was asking us what are we going to do when we get to university. And people said accounting, doctor, and all these amazing things. And I said, I just want to leave a legacy, and I feel like buildings leave a legacy behind. Long after you're gone, the building is still standing. And he said, oh, okay. And I said, but I'm now stuck because I also want to be an accountant. So I don't know whether I should do accounting or do building, go into building. And he says, why don't you become a quantity surveyor, because that's what a quantity surveyor does. You are in essence an accountant for construction, but you also get to be part of building the legacy of leaving the buildings that you're talking about, right? So it was the perfect combination for me. It addressed the things that I felt passionately about, and that's how I got here. And of course, with lecturing, then I went into industry, worked there a bit, but I came to lecturing because my truest passion is actually in educating and empowering others. So I am here to play a role in empowering you and making sure that you get to realize your dreams. So I'm not here to hinder you from reaching them. I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to cheer you on. So I just want us to have that understanding as we're beginning this year together, that we are in the same direction. We have the same goal, which is to finish strong and to cross that stage in 3 years from now. All right. So yes, I think without further ado, I will just give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves. I'd also like to know your name. Like I've already shared my name, I'm Mrs. Bogolo Ntombela. So I'd like to know your names, and so that you also tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get to enroll yourself in quantity surveying. All right, now that we are done with that, just to give you a brief overview of what to expect through the year. Now, all of you have lived in a house, right? Or at least have seen a house. Maybe let me say that, right? Let me say all of us have seen a house, what a house looks like, right? That's what we're going to be measuring this year. That's what I'm going to be teaching you. I'm going to be teaching you how to measure a house. All right. So from the foundations, which are underground, to the laying of the concrete footings, to the walls that are going to come up, that we all see, even in this very lecture hall that we're sitting in, there are walls, and that is what we refer to as superstructure, to your roof, which is what we're sitting under technically, right? Your roof, and then of course your finishes that you actually see now, the painting, the windows, the doors, the plastering, and the ceiling, and all of that, right? So we are going to learn, how do we actually cost this, right? So we are all about the money, right? We're all about the ka-ching ching. So how do we actually get to understand what it means to cost for windows, for doors, for plaster, for all these things. How do we get there, right? So I am going to be going through all of that with you this year to teach you how we do all of that, right? So I have a little model house that I like to demonstrate for my students so that I give them a really good understanding of what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about, right? So this is my model house that we're going to be working with for the rest of the year. I know it seems very small, and you are probably asking yourself, how are we going to measure this in a whole year? Trust me, it's going to take us the whole year to measure this magnificent structure that you see. As you can see, my roof also comes off because I want you to see the top view of the structure. That is why the roof comes off, because this is what you're going to be seeing when you receive drawings. It's a structure that's going to help you understand how to read drawings, right? So we're starting you with a very simple structure, but we know once you get to industry, because you would know how to read a simple structure, your mind would have been trained and programmed to read a more complex structure. So don't worry, don't panic. You're going to get there. So little by little, this is, like how you build a house brick by brick. We're going to be building your knowledge of quantity surveying and measuring brick by brick. All right. So every lesson that you come, we're going to start first with substructure. So substructure is everything that is underneath the ground that we cannot see. So this is where we dig holes, and then we lay the foundations, and we lay the concrete, and thereafter I'm going to teach you how to measure that. And then we come with the walls, which is what you actually then get to see, right? We're going to come with the walls, and we're going to learn how to measure that. And then we're going to do the doors and the windows, like you see the door there and the window there. We're going to measure that. Once we're done with the doors and windows, then we're going to do the roof, which is the peak of the house, right? And we're going to do the roof, and we're going to learn how to measure that as well. And once we're done then measuring the entire house, I can then confidently say that you would be ready for level or year 2, where you'll be measuring other structures. But here we are learning and solidifying the foundation of how do we measure. But don't worry, we also have what we call the standard system, which is going to be guiding us as to how do we actually measure. What are the rules, right? So everything in life has rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. Measuring is also the same way, right? We're going to do that. So we're also going to also talk about what the history of quantity surveying. How did we get to this profession? How did we get to a profession called quantity surveying? We're going to learn that history, and therefore you will then have a better understanding of saying, okay, because of this history, because of where we come from, this is why we now have the rules and regulations that help us to do what? To measure these structures that we see all around us, actually. All right. So yes, that's what we're going to do. So I'm expecting everybody to come to class. And when you are in class, I expect you to come with a calculator, because we're going to be crunching numbers. I expect you to come with a notepad and a pen, because you're going to be doing a lot of writing and a lot of reading and a lot of listening. So as you're listening to me, I expect you guys to take notes, because there are certain things that you will not remember if you don't write them down. So it's very important that you write them down so that you remember. Remember, when you write things down, you are recording it twice, right? You're recording it as you're listening to me, but you're also recording it because you're writing it down, because your brain is processing what I'm actually saying, right? And that might also spark questions, which I love. I love it when you guys ask questions, because it says to me, you're thinking about what I'm saying, you're processing it, and I need that. As a quantity surveyors, we pride ourselves in that we are thinkers. We think. And that's what I need you to do. When you come into my class, I need you to put your thinking cap on so that you can think and you can process everything that is going to happen in class, right? The more you think about it, the more questions you have, the more you ask, the better you begin to understand. And that's what I want us to get to, you understanding quantity surveying. Hence, I love the questions. Hence, I love the thinking and the processing. All right. And of course, I want you to come with your best attitude. I want you to come with your most enthusiastic self when you come to class, to say, I am here to understand this. I am here to dominate this thing. I'm going to crack it so that I can change. Some of you said you wanted to change your community where you're coming from so that you can change the community where you're coming from. Some of you said you wanted to do it to also leave a legacy like myself so that you can leave the legacy like myself, right? So just a side note, the legacy that I can pride myself that I was a part of, remember the Gau train that was built in 2009, right? I was a part of that project. So I pride myself in that I was a part of that project. And I was a young quantity surveyor at the time where we were learning how to measure. So that was a very exciting time for me. So one day you will be able to say to your grandkids, do you see that stadium? Or do you see that multi-story building? I was a part of that. Thank you.